Okay, let's go over the next chapter. And happy Monday. Chapter 35, Summer Vacation 2005. When Erika went to the clinic, they had the 2005 edition of the book, Our Bodies Ourselves. They had some natural progesterone cream. After she bought them and got the receipt, she got a haircut. Next day, Erika, Jonathan, Michael went to his parents. Went to San Francisco International Airport. As soon as they checked in, Erika called her uncle to let them know that they have checked in. When the plane landed in Japan's International Airport, they got to the domestic terminal. She called her uncle again to let them know that they will arrive at the airport that's closest to the fishing village. As soon as their connecting flight landed at the destination, Erika was about to call her uncle. However, he saw them, gave Erika Michael a bear hug. He also vigorously shook the hands of Jonathan and Michael's parents. Then they took the public train. After the train ride, they boarded a public bus to the fishing village. After they went to the respective IKEA and freshened up, Erika and Michael's mom went to Erika's grandmother's house to help prepare dinner. After dinner, they gave Erika the floor. She started by thanking Kim and Beradar. Without them, there isn't any way she could have accomplished 2 bachelor's degrees and 1 master's degree in 5 years on her own. She would also like to thank Chiaki, Michael, and their parents for the additional support. These past 5 years, she has learned and grown a lot about herself and her family. Most importantly, she realized that Latin America and the United States were the wrong countries for her mom to live in. Moreover, the United States was the wrong country for her younger brother to be born into, raised and educated. Also, her mother was suffering the entire time. Getting the right medical diagnosis and treatment was a constant theme. It wasn't until her mother returned to Japan that she finally got the right diagnosis and treatment. Although this seems as though Erika did the right thing to out her younger brother, her father lost everything. He lost his home, he lost his job. The United States was the right country for her father to live in. At this time, she genuinely apologized to her father for all the pain she has caused him. Moreover, she accepts full responsibility and will live with the consequences of her actions. However, hindsight is 2020. The key is for Erika to figure out what she would do to make sure she doesn't make the same mistake. Erika's mother should have stayed in Japan, continued her career as a teacher, and married the man who stays near her parents' hometown. To that end, the United States is the right country for Erika. She will do whatever it takes to stay in the United States, keep her career. No one knows what will happen in the future. Granted, something may happen. She might have to let go of the United States and her career and move to Japan. She said that she would not have any children of her own due to the 3 medical conditions that make pregnancy high risk to her and her unborn. She formally and respectfully bowed to her family. After what seemed like an eternity, the artist's uncle said that he'll appreciate Erika's insight. However, they will need time to process this information. As a result, they will reconvene later. With that, everyone wished each other a good night. Everyone returned to their respective IKEAs. When Erika was about to leave, her uncle discreetly cleared his throat. He carefully asked her what she would do if her father wants to return to the United States. Erika carefully replied that this is highly unlikely due to changes in the aftermath of 9/11. There's no more Department of Immigration and Naturalization Service. It's now the Department of Homeland Security, and they have rejected a lot of people's applications that they started when it was part of the Department of Immigration and Naturalization Service. So, moreover, her uncle knows her parents' situation. If they do return to the United States, then they revert back to their bad behavior. Most importantly, same as her mother, Erika has no power. She cannot protect, she cannot take care of her mother. Granted, the same thing applies to Japan. Carl will not protect and take care of his mother either. And Erika is concerned about what happened to her mother after her uncles passed away. He said he'll talk with the siblings about this. She carefully nodded. Also, she added, she saw her father's parents meddling in her parents' marriage. And her parents destroyed her mother. Although she knows that her mother will keep her hands off her marriage, she knows that her father will meddle if no one forces him to stay out. At this time, she told him she has all the money from the sale of her father's home. She's willing and able to wire him the full amount plus interest over the past 5 years. When her uncle said that he'll think about it, he excused her. On her way back, she saw the fishing village cat. After the cat meowed, he continued walking aimlessly around the village. When Erika looked up, she saw Michael. Then he returned to talk to his parents. She returned resumed walking to her Akia. Next day, she showed her family her academic transcripts, diploma from the prime university, public ones on its way, and her thesis. They were in awe of all that she has accomplished. The following day, she showed the DVD of her play from her third and fourth year at the private university. After the following dinner, they had a family meeting with Michael and his parents. Michael walked up to Erika's father. After Michael formally and respectfully bowed to Erika's father, he told him what he has accomplished over the past several years from Cal Poly and the private university. Next, he said that he would start his permanent full-time job with full benefits at the Adaptive Fitness Center that was founded by Pedar. He concluded with what he would do to make certain that he would do whatever he has to do to protect and take care of Erika. Finally, he formally asked Erika's father to give him permission to marry his daughter. The most remarkable thing about this speech was the fact that he said entirely in perfect Japanese with perfect intonation. The fact that he said it the way a made in Japan Japanese woman would have said it was irrelevant. Most Japanese language and culture professors are female. 7 months later, her father acquiesced his daughter's hand in marriage. When Michael's parents offered the reverse dowry since he's losing a daughter, her father waved his hand and respectfully declined. They spent the next few days planning the wedding. At this time, Erika disclosed that she did change her name when she changed her citizenship. However, when the naturalization certificate arrived in the mail, they got her last name wrong. Although the extended family was confused, her parents' younger brother wasn't surprised. Erika's uncle reassured her that Japan will get it correct. The day of the wedding, they went to the local prefecture office to sign Japan's marriage certificate. When Erika and Michael had a traditional Japanese wedding ceremony, Jonathan recorded the entire ceremony. It was a modified wedding. Erika wore a shiromoku, pure white, innocent over kimono over her regular kimono, and the headdress was a wataboshi, cotton hood, to hide her face until the end of the ceremony, which is also a symbol of innocence and purity. Michael wore a black kimono with wide-legged trousers. The ceremony started with a Shinzen Kekkon, which is a Shinto purification ritual. The priest was on the right, the maiden was on the left. Erika and Michael stood in the middle. The family stood behind the tables that had sake and various fruit. After the priest purified the shrine, called upon the kami spirits, the priest announced the start of the ceremony. For each of their 3 oaths, Erika and Michael shared a cup of sake. First, Michael took a sip, gave a cup to Erika. For the second cup, Erika took a sip, gave the cup to Michael. For the third cup, they repeated the first step. At this point, Michael couldn't help but to start giggling. He tried to hold it in, but covering his mouth only made his giggling worse. The oath symbolized their sharing of joys and sorrows in the marriage. Next, Erika and Michael walked up to the shrine. There he stated his vows, making certain to thank his parents, who introduced them to each other. Next, the senior members of the family shared sake and said aloud "Kanpai," cheers. The children did not partake because they're underage. Finally, the priest placed Japanese evergreen on the altar that symbolized thanking the spirits who blessed the union. At this time, Michael gave an offering to Erika's father, and Erika gave an offering to Michael's father. After they exchanged wedding rings, the ceremony concluded with the invoking of the gods called upon them to reflect the harmonious balance of the marriage. They spent the next a few more days at the fishing village, reflecting on the past 5 years, the start of their new life together. Since their relatives see them as a married couple, they spent the rest of their stay in the same Akia. After they took turns taking a long hot bath, they went to the shared room. Michael saw her washable period underwear. She blushed. She apologized, said that she hadn't bought any underwear during the past 5 years except for what she was wearing. She proposed spending a weekend at the department store of his choice. When he proposed going to Ross Dress Roulette, she shook her head. Now that she's a Hashimoto, she needs to defer to his choice. He proposed Macy's with a Murphy department store as a backup. Much to his relief, she agreed. When the conversation changed to Hawaii, Erika proposed buying new makeup to reflect her new relationship status. He nodded. While she talked about how they're going to live in the same house in Brisbane without a marriage certificate in the States. He proposed going to San Mateo County Administrative Building to sign domestic partnership. Then when they're ready, they can go through the civil ceremony. She said that they'll file income tax separately until then. Let's see. Next, she asked him if she would like to cash in his Broadway trip for the honeymoon the following summer. He nodded. The evening before they flew to Hawaii, Erika's aunt gave her a cloth bag with washable period underwear and some took home. At this time, Erika told her family, told her that she would go on their honeymoon the following summer. As a result, Erika would visit Japan the following winter. After they hugged each other, they wished each other good night. Next day, her uncle took Erika, Jonathan, Michael, and his parents to the domestic airport. After they hugged each other, wished each other a safe flight. Her uncle went outside, waited until the plane took off. After they arrived at the international airport in Japan, Hawaii, Erika called her uncle to let them know that they arrived safely. In Hawaii, they spent the first 5 days preparing for a traditional Hawaiian wedding. Michael's 4 grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, elder sisters, children were in attendance. At this time, Michael looked at Erika. When she nodded, he carefully let them know that they have chosen to not have any children of their own. Much to their relief, the reply was, "I thought so." Same as in Japan, Jonathan recorded the Hawaii wedding using his professional video recording equipment. Erika wore with a white holoku with white Hawaiian tropical prints and white. Michael wore shorts with a short sleeve and a solid color polo shirt. At the beach, the Hawaiian police opened with a chant "Oli." Next, Erika and Michael exchanged leis to symbolize love and aloha. After the wedding rings were blessed, they exchanged personal vows. They poured sand from separate containers into one container, symbolizing 2 lives becoming 1 life. Upon exchanging rings, they kissed. Next phase was the wedding reception. The wedding party entered the venue in this order: Michael's parents, then the flower rings, ring bearers, Michael's nephews and nieces. Wedding party, Michael's grandparents, extended family, and finally Erika and Michael. The first dance was with Erika and Michael. Dinner was served buffet style, including all of Michael's favorite food. When Erika went to the bartender, she made certain to order her favorite: pina colada with plant-ripened pineapple, tree-ripened coconut, and the least amount of white rum. Then Michael's family shared speeches and toasted the couple. Next, Erika and Michael cut the cake. When Michael danced with his mother, Erika danced with his father. Toward the end of the reception, Erika threw the bouquet. Michael opted out of the garter tossing. Then guests danced together. Again, same as in Japan, they spent a few more days in Hawaii. Erika and Michael shared a hotel room. During the day, they went sightseeing. After dinner, they spent quality time going over the new life and schedule they will have before they start their permanent jobs on August 1st. Mid-July, they flew back to San Francisco. Erika called her uncle right before they boarded their flight in Hawaii. As soon as the plane landed in San Francisco International Airport, after they got their luggage, Erika thanked Michael's parents for everything. Again, they thanked her for being the right person for their son. Then they drove in their respective cars back to their home. First, Michael drove Erika back to San Francisco. Then she turned in her key card for the final time. After going downstairs, she updated the pair regarding her schedule. Since he was between patients, she discreetly asked him about whether she'll need physical therapy. He said that only if she has chronic pelvic pain. She thanked him for the information. We'll make an appointment if it comes to that. He nodded. Next, they went to Macy's to put together Erika's new outfit for the new phase of their life. They also went over new underwear and makeup. After she gathered up all her old clothes, she went to local charity and donated them. They made one more stop before heading back to Brisbane, grocery shopping. Then they went back home. When they got to the property, Devin and Yennefer waved to them. Yennefer was working on the greenhouse with solar panels. The past winter, some of the vegetables and herbs didn't survive the frost, so she's building a temperature-controlled building. Fingers crossed they will survive the next one. Winter. After Erika and Michael made lunch, they started unpacking. After they unpacked their own boxes, they went over her family's belongings. Most of them were familiar to Erika. However, they saw a box that was never opened. Erika gasped and covered her mouth. She immediately knew why her mother bought those items. It was for her wedding. When she told Michael, he too gasped and covered his mouth. After they unpacked it, they set out to stock their kitchen with a new dinnerware set. Next 2 weeks, they unpacked the rest of their boxes from Santa Clara. During the first week, in the evenings, they bought a few boxes of thank you cards, signed each one. They added a handwritten, heartfelt letter of gratitude to her parents, as well as Erica's uncle, and offered to charge of her grandma's care in her parents' marriage. Once all of them were signed, they went to the local post office, and yes, they even mailed out thank you cards to his parents, even though they lived in the next town. I don't know if this is something that's just unique to the United States or if this happens in other countries, but I notice in this country people do that. Yeah, so in the evenings, they started hashing out their prenup agreement. At this time, they agreed to update it every year until they decide that it's no longer necessary. Erika shared the bank statements. At first, he was concerned she was making a lot more money than Michael. However, as soon as she told him that most of it's royalties from Chucky's cooking show and feature-length film about kitsune, I can't spell. He breathed a sigh of relief. When she suggested he too come up with ideas for the studio's next project, he shook his head. He is not a creative person. His strength is seeing how business are run and suggest improvements. When he looked at her Roth IRA, he was concerned. The first year, her stock lost 35% of its value. However, she emphasized that this is a long-term investment. She won't touch it until they retire. At this time, she showed them how the company did in 2004. Sales of iPod caused the shares to increase threefold. Although he wasn't fully convinced, he knew that this is her money, so he acquiesced. Next, he showed her his financial portfolio. He would give her annual updates on his progress to pay back his parents, since he doesn't want to start the marriage with student loan debt. Then he gave her his income taxes from 1999 to 2004. He showed her his bank statements. She knew about the rent payments, so she didn't know how much he's spending on clothes and how often he gets his haircut. Although she was concerned, she knew that's his money, and he's very good at staying on top of his budget, so she acquiesced as well. At this time, they went over whether to continue the separate bank accounts or combine both of their accounts. After going through the pros and cons, they decided to maintain separate accounts while making a new one to pay for the living expenses. That way, Erika won't have to keep writing checks for her half of the property taxes. They would do so as soon as they go through their civil ceremony. On Monday, Michael said that he has a surprise. He'll drive Erika's car. She must keep her eyes closed. Although she was confused, she complied. When he told her to open them, they were at the local car dealership. He said that his car is a 1999 model, so he'll get a new car around 2015, 2020-ish. However, since Erika's car is in 1984, it's time for her to get a new one. She did admit that she was planning to get a new car once they improved the technology on rear view video cameras. However, she acquiesced and was going to get the cheapest toy, the Camry. He said that the best possible one is actually the XLE V6 model. When she went over the colors, she chose Lunar Mist Metallic. It was way better than the dark blue 1984 Honda model that she was driving. After he paid for it, she spent the rest of the vacation getting used to her new car. On the way home, she went to her bank, Department of Motor Vehicles, San Mateo County's elections department to notify them of her new address. When they returned to the home in Brisbane, Michael had her cover her eyes again. After she carefully got to her front door and opened it, he told her to open her eyes. She was stunned. That was the other reason Michael got out of their home. He needed his parents to get into their home to deliver their grand piano. She immediately wrote a second thank you letter to his parents for the piano. At this time, she made sure to spend at least an hour each evening practicing. She also made a mental note to hire a private teacher to go to their home for lessons. She also made a note to donate her electronic keyboard to a local charity. On weekends, Erika and Michael worked with them in the front of the community garden. They made sure to spend quality time with Richard and his daughter Ashley. On Sundays, Erika and Michael took Richard and Ashley to the Buddhist temple. After services, they spent quality time with Kim and Pedro at the Golden Gate Park. Then they returned to Brisbane to make dinner together. So, as with all these videos, questions, comments, constructive criticisms, let me know, and I shall see you next time. See ya.